I'm Danielle, your host of the A Bridge to Motherhood podcast, the place where moms like you learn to thrive, not just survive through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I'm a birth and postpartum doula and a mom of two who's been where you are. My first pregnancy was filled with so much excitement, but it was also marked by stress, anxiety, and fear of the unknown. I thought I had everything mapped out, but when postpartum hit, I realized how unprepared I was for the physical, emotional, and mental toll of motherhood. It was overwhelming, lonely, and nothing like I imagined. When I found out I was pregnant again, I knew I needed to approach things differently. I made it my mission to not only prepare for postpartum, but to prioritize myself in the process. That shift changed everything. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're navigating your first pregnancy, feeling buried under endless advice, or struggling to figure out what you actually need for postpartum, this podcast is your safe space. You'll find practical tips, honest conversations, and expert insights to help you feel informed, supported, and empowered through every stage of motherhood. If you're ready to feel confident, prepared, and truly supported in your motherhood journey, stick around. This is for you. Welcome back to the A Bridge to Motherhood podcast. I am so excited. I have another guest episode for you today with Allison Smith. She is a mom of two, soon to be three, with a passion for helping busy moms lose weight, but more importantly, gain physical and mental strength and energy. She fell into this mission after losing herself and falling into a scary mental state after having her second baby. It took a lot of learning and work to get where she is today, and she wishes she would have had something like this when she was struggling, which led her to become certified in personal training and nutrition and create the program she has today that has already helped over 100 women create lifelong transformations. Welcome, Allison. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Let's just dive in and talk about your Strong Mama program. Over 100 women. That is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to create the program?
Yeah, of course. Kind of like I said, I really struggled just trying to balance it all. And I know I talk with so many moms, honestly, daily now that are in the thick of it, in that exact same struggle. And I thought I had things under control when I was on maternity leave, where it was like, okay, this is fine. I've got a toddler and a newborn and everything's fine. We were on maternity leave and it was summertime, so it was fairly smooth sailing. I was able to fit workouts in and we were going for walks all the time. It was great. And then I went back to work, which at the time I was actually a teacher. So I went back to teaching, which I know tons of teachers. And if you've ever been a teacher, as I know you have as well, like it is a very, very physically and mentally demanding job. I very naively thought that I'd be able to just keep up with everything that I had been. And once the school year started, it was okay, no, we can't handle this. Like I thought I was going to work out when I got home, but kids needed me. I thought I was going to be able to do it after they were in bed, but oh my gosh, I was so exhausted. I couldn't bring myself to do anything. And so that went on for a couple of months and I just continued to slip deeper and deeper into, honestly, probably depression. I never got it diagnosed. I would talk to my husband about it and he would try and be supportive and everything, but gosh, it's just so hard. You don't, unless you are a mom in the thick of it, you have no idea what that actually feels like. And I can remember the day that I made a decision where I am not patient with my kids. I am snapping at them all the time. I don't have the energy to play with them the way I want to. I am just surviving. It's like there has to be a better way. And I recognized like one of the biggest things that had changed was just I wasn't moving my body anymore. I wasn't exercising anymore. And that luckily I was able to just kind of connect that exercise and movement gave me those quote happy hormones that light up those parts of your brain, and recognizing that you have to give some energy to get some energy and things like that. So I decided to figure it out at all costs, figure out a time to get some workouts in your week, get some movement in your week. And so I did. And I made that goal to wake up before my kids. And I said, you know what, we're just going to start with 2 days a week and go from there. And if it doesn't work out, we'll figure something else out. I can literally remember making this decision because it was so life-changing. And then every time that alarm went off, going through my head, you owe this to yourself. Get out of bed and go do something. You owe this to your kids. Let's make this happen. And so it was such a mindset thing for me. And I think that over time, I've now recognized it wasn't just having some fitness plan to go do. It was the mindset behind that that shifted everything. And that's what I really want to help moms understand, because again, that's so young. And I think sometimes we are stuck in that survival mode thinking, well, I'll just stay in survival mode until they're in school and I have some time to myself again. And that is so not necessary, right? We can get out of that survival mode in a very realistic way. And that's what I'm so passionate about helping moms do, is let's get you out of survival mode. How can you realistically prioritize yourself? So that's how the Strong Mama program came to be.
I love what you said about the mindset shift, because that really has to come first before anything else falls into place. And I know that was a big part of my own story and recovering from postpartum depression and anxiety, was learning to reframe my thoughts. And like you said, I owe it to myself. I love when you said that. I owe it to myself to wake up and do this for me, because so often as mothers, we put everyone else's needs above our own, and we forget how important it is to take care of ourselves too. And I love your Strong Mama program because it's so well-rounded in that it covers all of these aspects. It's not just fitness. It really is so much of the mindset piece. It's working on the nutrition. It's tackling those lies. But let's kind of start from the workout perspective, because I know that's where so many people struggle, is just getting those workouts in and being consistent. Through your program, how do you help moms stay consistent with workouts when they're so low on energy and low on time?
Yeah, for sure. And I think the biggest thing with consistency, again, to loop it into a little bit of a mindset, is that people think that consistency means doing the same thing every day sometimes, whereas it really doesn't have to mean that. So a lot of times when somebody signs up with me, we're just going to start you off with 2 workouts per week that I assign you that are about 20-25 minutes. However, I think it is that consistency that helps stick the routine. So we kind of come up with this plan of, when does it make sense for you to get some movement in? Is it in the morning? Is it right when you're done with work? Is it during nap time? When is it? And during that chunk of time, this is when you're going to move your body. And so we come up with a plan for things that they enjoy. So whether it's walking outside, if that's an option, or doing one of the strength-based workouts that I assign them, or walking on a walking pad. I have a client, is it okay if I start rollerblading again? I'm like, absolutely, let's do that.
So fun.
So it's very customized to whatever feels good, and understanding too that consistency can look different. So it's some days your movement is only going to be actually 10 minutes because you needed a little bit more sleep that day. And you know that Mondays are just rough because for whatever reason, right? Where it's, you know what, Mondays, you're just going to move for 10 minutes and that's it. And then the next day you're going to have a 25-minute workout. And that's what consistency looks like, is that you're just showing up for yourself in some capacity every single day. And it's amazing when you can do it where you have time by yourself. I always say, if we can get that in, fantastic. But at the same time, if your kids end up needing to be awake while you're working out, like, that's okay. They're gonna be able to witness their mom getting stronger. And almost all my clients that do it that way, their kids start joining in and saying, like, and then they actually start holding their mom accountable. Mom, you just got home from work. Are you gonna go work out? And to hear that from your kids is, you know what, you're right. Yes, I guess here we go.
You're expecting right now your third, and you've been through this postpartum experience twice now, and now for a third time of coming back into exercise and taking care of your body again. So let's talk about bounce back culture and how moms can kind of shift their mindset from that to actually getting strong and focusing on building up their health versus bounce back and looking a certain way or how fast it's happening.
Oh, 100%. And I will say, with my first, definitely had that like bounce back mindset. And it was very conflicting because I think on one hand, I was I'll never get my body back. I have to accept that this is my stage of life right now. But then there was always that other piece in my mind where I was scrolling through Instagram and everybody else, she had a baby 3 weeks ago. No, she didn't. And so it's so hard to have those like conflicting feelings. But so much has changed since having my first now because again, I was not successful with the bounce back with my first because so much changes after having kids that what used to work for me wasn't working anymore. And so that was kind of a struggle after having her too, was like, hold on a second, I can't just go for a run and eat less and drop weight. So I had to learn so much even through that too. But like you said too, it slowly became such a mindset piece of, okay, I'm going to start working out because I like the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel stronger. It gives me more energy. It gives me more patience. That's why I'm going to work out. And so when I shifted from almost torturing my body with as hard of a workout as I could go do, or going for runs, even though I hated them, let's go find some exercise that you actually enjoy that lets you feel stronger because it's just about the mental piece. And now, even heading into this third pregnancy and postpartum season, it is tough. I am in a wedding. I'm supposed to be in a wedding about 4 weeks after I deliver.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty wild. And I am already battling with that. Again, I have to sit back and tell myself it is what it is. You have to give your body time and grace. And when we can switch the mindset over from what's going to happen is going to happen. I'm doing this for my mental health. I'm doing this to be able to show up for my kids as my best self. And it's hard too because it's again one of those feelings, just like we say you don't know what it feels like to be a mom unless you really are a mom. Sometimes it's kind of that with the exercise of you don't know what you're missing out on until you try it and until you have that experience of really being consistent and really reaping the benefits of that exercise with that mindset. Sometimes I think we go into the exercise with the mindset of losing weight, and when we don't see the physical progress on the scale or in our clothes that we want to see, it's easy to ignore. But hold on a second, I actually felt so good, when I was doing those workouts, and it's easy to forget about the non-tangible results when you're not seeing the tangible results especially when that's like the only reason you went into exercise. And I mean, we can talk about that later on too in this podcast, but I will say, I think there's another misconception around the workouts are going to be the key thing I just need to get in place to lose weight. And that is actually the last thing that we need to get in place to lose weight. It's definitely helpful and we need it for a lot of things, but really the exercise, what that benefit comes down to is your mental health. And if you're looking to lose weight and feel better in your clothes and your skin and everything, that's going to come down to nutrition and mindset.
It's so true because there's a lot of research that has started to come out, and I can link some of the research articles in the show notes of this podcast, but just how important exercise is for moms in the postpartum period, especially, and in either helping to heal from postpartum depression and anxiety or to even help prevent it. I love that the focus there and that mindset shift is on how you feel. Because how many of us say, I just want to be the best mom that I can be? I mean, every mom I know
Mhm.
says that. And I think that movement piece is so key for our mental health. And I know in my experience, it has been so helpful in even my postpartum experience from number one being in January, February, where I could not get outside at all and move my body, and giving birth at the end of June and being able to take walks in the neighborhood and be outside and go to the metro parks here in Cleveland. It was so different in how I felt internally.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about the nutrition journey and the mindset with nutrition in postpartum and even pregnancy.
And I will say again, too, mindset ties into everything. And just like it relates to fitness, where a lot of times we have that all or nothing mindset. And I try to encourage people. So when it's, oh gosh, I don't have time to get my workout in today. Okay, do you have 5 minutes to walk up and down your driveway? or walk around your house or, hop on a walking pad if you have access to it, right? Because that 5 minutes will always be better than sitting on the couch for an additional 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And then that equates to nutrition too. I think, again, we have grown up in such a diet culture where it's like if you want to see any kind of progress at all, you have to be on a diet, which
Hmm.
means so many of us have developed this all or nothing mindset around nutrition and equating that to seeing progress with weight loss. And so we've developed this all or nothing, like, hey, well, I'm on a diet right now, so I can't have that. I'm on a diet right now, so I have to make sure I'm only eating juice or whatever. There's so many different crazy diets that are out there right now. And I wish so badly that we could cut the diet culture. I think that there are really great studies around the Mediterranean diet or even the keto diet. There's a ton of research showing that keto diet can help with, I mean, gosh, so many mental diagnoses, bipolar disorder, and like all kinds of stuff. So that's where I don't necessarily want to say it's not beneficial, because if you have a very specific purpose, I think it can be beneficial in that way. But at the same time, I don't ever want to hear somebody say, well, I'm on a juice cleanse for this diet, which means I can only drink juice for 7 days or something like that. Let's learn how to eat for your body, enjoy the things that you like, learn how to do it in moderation, learn how to balance this, getting rid of the all or nothing mindset, and then learning. I think there's been a really big shift in people's understanding of how to fuel your body. And my biggest mindset shift around nutrition is let's not talk about what you're going to cut out. Let's talk about what we're going to add in so that you can know that you're eating enough protein in your day so that naturally you don't have the cravings for the chips and the sweets and the things like that. And then it doesn't become this, I can't have chips anymore. It becomes this, I actually don't want chips anymore. I'm good. I ate so much good food today. I don't have any cravings for chips whatsoever, right? So that's always kind of my goal, is to give people that knowledge and help them incorporate what those things into their current lifestyle. I don't really give meal plans. I don't give strict calorie counts or macro counts or anything like that. I really take what's going on in their lifestyle right now, and we slowly make small changes to that so it feels manageable in a very strategic way, so that I know that by making these changes, you're increasing your protein and you're eating more whole foods and things like that.
I love the what can we add in, because so often when we hear that phrase of cutting out or no, you can't have this, you automatically want to buck up
Oh, yeah.
against that and do the exact opposite. If we're focusing on what we're adding in, it's not subtraction and making us feel like we're losing something, but instead we're gaining
Mhm.
something in how we feel. And it is, I know for me, nutrition is such a mindset issue. And what you said about not being on a strict diet or being on a meal plan, we're busy moms. So we need something that doesn't feel like we're adding so much to our plate. It's just so much more manageable to do it the way that you do in your program versus trying to follow something so strictly and then we fall off or there's no flexibility there. And I talk so much on this podcast and with my guests just about when we become moms, we have to have so much more flexibility in everything that we do with our kids. Let's talk about how to listen to your body, because that's kind of where you were going with all of that. We're listening to our body, we're being intuitive
Mhm.
to feel strong in our recovery. So, what tips would you give to a mom who's like, I don't even know what that means to listen to my body?
I think I'll say too, if you find yourself struggling to know how to listen to your body, I encourage you to like open a notes app in your phone and just start taking notes about maybe how certain things make you feel, because it's listening to your body in terms of, okay, when do you find yourself hungry? When do you find yourself feeling full when you're eating a meal? Do you find that certain foods make you feel maybe inflamed or groggy or gross or, whatever that might be? Like, what kind of foods are those? And then it's making that bringing that to the conscious, like forefront of our brain, because I think we recognize it, right? Where it's, I know I just ate a bunch of chips and I'm not going to feel great. But then when it's, you really bring that to the forefront of your brain, okay, but why do I keep eating this when it makes me feel like garbage? How can I find a replacement for that? Or how can I set myself to eat it in more moderation? Because I love ice cream and I'm not going to cut out ice cream just because it makes me feel maybe a little bit bloated and stuff. It's that I started paying attention to, okay, well, what are my limits with ice cream? How much can I have before I cross through that threshold of starting to feel gross? It's not figuring out, oh, now I have to cut this out of my life. It's figuring out how much can I have before I start feeling that, maybe feeling that I don't want to feel. I think something else that's hard is I coach my clients to eat. I mean, I eat 5, sometimes 6 times a day, and what works for me doesn't work for everybody. But a really common question I get is, I'm trying to reach my protein goals. I know you told me to have a mid-morning snack or a mid-afternoon snack, but I'm not hungry. Should I eat anyways? And so the biggest question I'll say is, okay, so you're not hungry for your mid-morning or afternoon snack. Sure. But how do you feel when it's dinner time? How do you feel when it's lunchtime? Are you starving and then you feel ravenous? So that's telling you, even though you're not hungry in that moment, your body does need a snack so that you can make it the rest of the time to dinner and eat a reasonable amount at dinner instead of feeling like you have to. We always, at least when I'm hungry, I start eating super, super fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we eat fast, it's hard to listen to what our body's telling us for our fullness cues. So
Right.
that's something else I say too, is try to eat really slow. Try to serve yourself smaller portion sizes and then wait before going back for seconds. So many moms I talk to too are like, I mean, yeah, when I make a good meal, I just go back for seconds. It's just what I do. Okay, well, why? Is your body telling you you want more food? Or is it just, that was so good, I'm going to go eat more? Listening to those things and being in tune with them. Even last night, for example, I had a bowl that I didn't think was very big. I'm probably going to have more. I gave over half of it to my kids. And I decided after I finished that bowl, I'm going to wait a little bit and see if I really want this. And 20 minutes later, I actually felt full. Thank goodness I didn't go back for more, or I'd be feeling super gross right now. And it's always just that waiting and being in tune with your body. So yeah, if you wanted to like start a journal on it and just start kind of taking notes, and am I eating out of habit, or am I eating because I'm hungry? Am I eating because I'm not drinking enough water and my body's confused with what this cue is? Why do I go back for seconds? Is it just something that I watched my dad do for my entire life and I feel like I need to do it too? There's so much mental that could be drudged up through when we start talking about nutrition.
I tell my kids that too. I'm like, why don't you wait and see if you need that snack? Or,
Mhm.
oh, drink some more water. You haven't had a lot to drink today. And how can we apply that to ourselves? What's one small action a mom can take today to support her physical and mental well-being if she's gonna start? What would you tell her to do?
It's so hard, but I would honestly say start with the mental piece and just give yourself a 5-minute window in every single day. Start with 5 or 10 minutes in your day. Take a look. Where could you build that in? Is it right after the kids go to bed? Could you get yourself up maybe 5 or 10 minutes before the kids wake up? Is it during a nap time? Is it you get to step outside in the middle of your workday for 5 or 10 minutes? Find just a tiny bit of time to carve out and decide what you want to do with that time. Whether it's taking a walk and starting to move your body, or maybe it's making sure that you have that snack because you don't actually get to eat. Maybe it's, making sure that you have a breakfast first thing in the morning, or that you're getting to eat dinner and even work with your partner. If you are lucky enough to have a partner in your household too, this is something else that's so huge, is just the communication. I think that so often dads want to help, but they don't know where to start. And
Mm-hmm.
they feel, I know sometimes my husband's like, oh my gosh, you're just doing so much. He'd be more than happy to do stuff, but he's like, I don't really know what you need. What do you need the most? And
Mm-hmm.
so communicating, I need you to take the kids for 10 minutes while I sit on the deck after dinner. I need you to listen for the kids if they wake up while I'm out on a 5-minute morning walk? What can you do so that you're just finding a teeny tiny bit of time? And then what are you going to do in that time? I would suggest even journaling or maybe reading, getting in the sunshine as much as humanly possible to lower our cortisol levels. Just start small and pick one thing. Just pick one thing.
It is so much more manageable than we realize, but starting small and being consistent, like you said, even if it is the 2 days,
Mhm.
is such a good place to just say, this is something that I can do, and I'm going to make the effort to do
Mhm.
it. If someone is interested and they're thinking, yeah, I'm really ready to prioritize myself and make some of these changes, can you walk them through what your program looks like and kind of what results they might expect?
Yeah, that's what's great about the program is that it is just constantly flowing and that I want moms to join at a time in their life that it makes sense for them. I don't necessarily want you to wait a month for a whole cohort to get started together. So you can start at any time. And really the biggest piece of it is just me getting to know what your current lifestyle is, what your current struggles are. Through that, we end up kind of bringing up some of these maybe limiting beliefs we had talked about that are holding us back from prioritizing ourselves and really working on some mindset shifts that we can get started with so that we break down the barrier to entry for consistency and all or nothing mindset and things like that. So all of that really takes place during our onboarding process. And then once we get through that onboarding process, we create a specific plan for you. Everything's typed out, written out, so you can always go back and reference it. And then your workouts are delivered to you through a third-party app that I get to personalize. Clients have access through that app to message me at any time. So if something comes up, they have questions, they can ask. We create their nutrition plan through that all as well. And then there's a little mini training program that I've created that clients will go throughout that 12-week program as well. That's going to really help with those mindset shifts where there are videos strategically placed in the program when people tend to hit specific mental roadblocks or things like that. And I'm also excited because even though I am having a baby, I am bringing on another coach. We're in the process of actually getting her trained right now. So this is just a soft launch announcement of her working with me, but I'm so excited. She is also just so incredibly knowledgeable. She's been through even more experiences than I have in her own life with her own pregnancies and mental journeys and everything like that. And she's also certified and trained in so many things. So clients are going to be so supported no matter what. Even if I am giving birth, people will still be super supported. If that's something that interests you, I will share the link to schedule a strategy call. If this is resonating with you and you're like, gosh, I know I need this support, we just get on a strategy call and make sure it makes sense for you. It's just, well, what are some things that you're experiencing right now so that if this program makes sense for you, great. If not, let me try and help you come out of the call with some strategies that you can start implementing immediately. Because I really want moms to feel supported in whatever capacity that they end up working with me.
And tell everyone how they can connect with you online. And I know you have your Facebook group, so can you talk about that too?
Yes. So I have a Facebook group that I run and just manage and drop as many tips and things as possible as I can. And that's totally free to join. It's called Strong Mama. So you can search it in Facebook. There's just a couple questions that you'll answer, especially if you want like a resource right off the bat. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Allison Haley Fitness. You can also find me on Facebook. It's just Allison Haley is my personal page, Hallie, because I know it's kind of spelled wrong. You can also, on my Instagram, there's a link tree with different links to book a call, like all those things.
Perfect. Very excited for you. And as you're welcoming your third little one and just everything to come in the Strong Mama program, it sounds like adding this coach is going to be huge for you and it will allow the program to grow too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on. And everyone, make sure that you check out all of the links that we talked about today in the show notes. Thanks so much for tuning in to the A Bridge to Motherhood podcast. I'm so glad you are here today. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review for the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. Share it with a friend or snap a screenshot and tag me on social media. If you decide to leave me a review, go to abridgetomotherhood.com/review. That link is also in the show notes so that I can send you a little gift in the mail. Your support helps other moms to find the podcast, and it truly means the world to me. Remember, your motherhood journey deserves your care and attention. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, mama, and don't worry, I'm here to help every step of the way. See you soon.